Hello, January the 8th, 2021. Somebody, bonjour Isabel. Hi Maggie. Maggie is my Westie. Maggie May is my Westie. Hi guys, people are joining. We've just been clapping outside. It's a cold night, but the clap as the Daily Star, which is which is the most tabloid of all tabloids in this country, their headline was, of course, "The clap is back today." Not that I read the Daily Star, but I just saw it. Classic Daily Star. Hi, how are you all? Lovely to see all you familiar names. Hello everybody. Happy New Year. Happy fucking New Year. I don't often swear. Crikey, eh? Wow, I don't know why I'm smiling. I guess it's because this is a ritual and this is the first one we've done for a while, isn't it? I'm tired too. Yeah, fucking Jose. Hello from Florence. Wild Times. Good morning from Sydney. Radical Posture. All the lovely familiar names. R.I.P. MF Doom. A pioneer, an extraordinary artist. Thoughts on MF Doom? I remember when we were making, I think it was In Rainbows, Tom was really into Mad Villainy, and he kind of introduced me to MF Doom, as he's done with a lot of music over the years. Stuff like Boards of Canada, Aphex, he introduced me to that stuff. And MF Doom was another one. So yeah. Hi Belarus, hi Haiti, wow. Eduardo from Barcelona, hola Sera. Yeah. He did do a Doom remix, that's right. Tom did do a Doom remix. I think he did it with Johnny. And I think he met Doom once. He told me, like, when we were in Chicago, when we were doing Lollapalooza, I think he went out to get some food and Doom came over and said hello, and he was like, Tom loves meeting his musical heroes, as we all do, and he said he was like, oh, it's really great to meet him, and I think he was always surprised. It's always surprising as well when people who you love, if they know who you are. I mean, I know that might sound stupid with a band like Radiohead, but 20 years ago we didn't expect, I still don't expect people to know of us. In fact, it's always very refreshing when you get in a London cab and where are you going, mate? Oh, I'm just going to the studio. Oh yeah? What, are you a musician then? Yeah, I'm a musician. Well, are you famous? Not really, I'm not famous, no. My band is kind of, a bit well known, sometimes well known. Oh yeah? What's the name? Have you heard of a band called Radiohead? No, not sure. Not sure, no. Song called Creep? Oh. Yeah, I think my daughter likes that. So it sort of goes on a bit like that anyway. Anyway, it's a bad London cabbie. Not that there are bad London cabbies, that was a bad impression. So, wow. I'm going to pull somebody in a sec. I think we'll be brief tonight. There's so much going on, but I didn't know whether to do this. I didn't know whether it was appropriate, but you've got to tell me if this gets boring. You've got to say if you don't want it. I'm aware that, there were some lovely comments, people saying how much it means to them and the connection, and we're in lockdown. So this feels more pertinent than ever because this is when it started in the first lockdown. So we are in day 2 of a proper lockdown, and the schools will probably not go back before end of March here, realistically. So it's early days in lockdown. In our house, all is well. Una's birthday tomorrow. She shares it with David Bowie. So we were asking her at supper what she wants to do for after supper. Does she want to watch a film? No, she doesn't want to watch a film. She could do that any night of the week, she says. What she really wants to do is Zoom with her friends. So we'll do some cake after school finishes online. And Sal is staying fit, and we're all kind of trying to get a routine. I think it's really important. I'm aware of the effect that this time can have on your mental health. And I'm not going to get into it, but I've been definitely feeling it the last month or two. But you don't want to hear about that yet. Or ever. I'm rabbiting on. All right, I think I should pull somebody in. Maybe from America after what happened yesterday. Maybe we should just have a chat. Yeah. All right, let's pull somebody in. Maybe we've got someone familiar from America. Okay. Americans may, let's see. We've got some famous, okay. All right. Okay, well, we've had a lot of luck. Let's try. I like this name. Andreas Salad Bar. Okay. Andre requesting. Andres Salad Bar. Hello.
Wow, hello there.
Hi,
Hi.
Mr. Salad
Uh,
Bar.
yeah, well, my last name is Saldivar, and they say, oh, salad bar. It's a joke.
Yeah, I like
That's,
Saldivar.
oh,
That's
thank
cool.
you. Thank you.
Where's the name from?
From Mexico. Both of my parents are from Mexico.
Whereabouts in Mexico?
Exactly where?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like in the mid area. It's called Zacatecas.
What's it called?
Zacatecas?
Zacatecas. I love the sound of that.
Yeah, it's very small town.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. Well, it's a little dangerous right now, so I wouldn't go. But yeah, it's nice.
And you are, are you Andres?
Yes, I am.
Andres, lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Nice. It's nice to meet you too.
Whereabouts are you right now?
California, Anaheim.
Ah, I've
Yeah,
been to
so
Anaheim, home of Disneyland.
happiest place on earth, but
Really?
no. It's crazy. It's a divide. If you are from the city, you see the happiest place on earth, but then you cross the train tracks and it's like, no, it's not. But yeah.
I mean, we love Disneyland, but it's also flipping weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very corporate these days, but yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so how are you doing today, Andres? How are you feeling?
Well,
Honestly,
considering
let's be honest. Let's no, because I mean, I don't think anybody's going to go like, "Oh yeah, I'm having a brilliant day."
where am I? Oh, there I am.
Yeah, there you
Uh,
go. How are you feeling?
it's very overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, the whole state of the country, I would say, uh, the sense of democracy that we all kind of believe in, but it's kind of just insane seeing how the response of police, the difference between movements, and seeing how far it all just escalated yesterday.
It was funny because not funny, but we were watching it on the news live on the BBC. And it was interesting on the feedback and reading the news there, and also a lot on the Instagram about, is that true that the police basically offered no resistance and they sort of let them in? Is that correct?
From what I'm seeing, I mean, I've seen clips of police officers just taking selfies with
Really?
protesters. Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, I feel it's just for show, really. I don't know. It, it's just insane seeing, people are pulling images from when Black Lives Matter were around and the comparison between how police are responding. It's as though they're, it just feels very orchestrated. And it's insane to see the president just not disown it in any way.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. I mean, it's interesting because when I did a post this morning on it, I added, and I actually took it off. I edited it a minute later. I said, "But are we really surprised?" And I edited it out because I thought, that's not for me to, for me to say. But a lot of the feedback, I mean, the feedback on the Instagram post that I posted today was extraordinary in range. I mean, but the big thing was a lot of people saying, "I'm not surprised. I'm not," and it's not really, is it? I mean, it's like,
Mm-mm.
it's like, it's like, yeah, it's like, it's almost, it was shocking to see those images, obviously, and it's shocking when things like that happen. But are you
Right.
surprised? No, no.
No.
It's cause and effect, isn't it? It's, if you have, this has been a long time coming, and I think this is pre-Trump as well. I mean, America's a, it's a weird thing as a British person talking about America. I mean, my grandmother's American, so it's a bit
Mm.
like you can't start, when you're talking about someone else's country, you have to be careful. You can't start slagging it off, because it's a bit like, slagging someone else's family. You can you can slag your brother off in your own family, but if anyone else slags your brother, you can't do it. So I'm very
Right.
aware of that and respect. However, I've got a lot of family in America, and I love America. And America was the place when I was a kid growing up in Britain in the 1970s. Britain was a really dark place in the 1970s. We
Mm.
had things like, we had this 3-day working week in the 1970s when there was no power for 4 days of the week, for 4 days of the week, because
Wow.
there were lots of strikes, and Britain was like this rundown country. And we used to get these television programs from America. So I remember things like, well, one of my favorites was, I don't know if you remember a show called The Rockford Files. Have you heard of The Rockford
Mm.
Files?
No.
You're
No.
way too young.
Maybe.
But anyway, it was played by James Garner, this kind of private detective called Jim Rock. Yeah, what's he called? Jim Rockford. Rockford? Yeah, Jim Rockford. And he lived in this trailer in California, and the sky was blue, the sun always shone, and the last shot of the credits, and I've said this quite a lot, there's this, it freeze framed, and he's looking up and he's laughing and smiling, and the light, this dappled light, this Californian light, which you'll know all about, falls upon his face. And that's what you felt about America. It was golden. And I first came to America in 1982. My grandmother was born on the Texas-Mexican border, which I've said many times, down in Laredo, Nuevo Laredo,
Mm.
and grew up in Fort Worth. The aged 8, moved up to Fort Worth, and then uh, lived in America up until her late 20s. She was at college in Missouri and met my grandfather, who was English, and came back just before the war. So I've got a lot of American family who I love, and they're like a second family to me. And it's interesting, the more you go back, and especially when I travel around by Greyhound in like 1986 by bus, between college and school, you suddenly see the underbelly of society. And
Mm.
also you're at an age whereby you're curious, and I went to study politics and economics at university, particularly politics. And politics, the way that I studied was essentially trying to get to what's the truth. And so, America, that we've been held up as the land of the free, this beacon. And then suddenly you're traveling by Greyhound, and the Greyhound terminals are in all the roughest parts of town. And people, there weren't a lot of white, kids age 18 traveling by Greyhound in those days.
Right.
And that was great because that meant that, we'd have long trips and I'd go to the back of the bus and have a cigarette and chat to people. So it was great in a way. But you realize that, oh my God, America's a very brutal place. It's like a brutal form of capitalism. People are on an edge, and I guess, this kind of brutal form of capitalism has reached this kind of peak in the last 4 years, and what's going on now? Because those protesters yesterday, they're not happy. They're not happy with their lot. We might not agree with them, but they're not happy. And there are a lot of people who are really, really, the system doesn't work for them. And there's this kind of, I was a big fan of, sorry, I'll let you talk in a sec. I know I've monopolized.
No, I enjoyed listening.
This is just a British perspective. One of my favorite playwrights, in fact, my favorite playwright is Arthur Miller. I love The Crucible. I love View from a Bridge, Death of a Salesman. And what is Arthur Miller talking about? Death of a Salesman. He's basically saying the American dream, which is this thing that we grew up with, like you've got to go to America, is bullshit. There's some truth there, but there's a whole load of bullshit behind it. And, I think we're living in an age at the moment. If you try and the bigger picture, what's going on everywhere, we're living in an age of authenticity, where all the truth is coming out about, and I don't know what the truth is, and there are all sorts of conspiracy theories that go, the truth is we're being run by a cabal of people, whatever. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But those people who are saying that, they don't know. None of us know. But what is for certain is that all these areas in life where there are imbalances and all these old tensions are coming to the surface. They're coming to the surface in our country. We've resorted to a country that we're not Europeans anymore. We need to, of course we're fucking Europeans. But these are old tensions that are rising. So it's almost like everything's coming to the surface, being shaken up, and it has to
come down.
Has to settle down. And hopefully, the reason I stay positive is because in all this chaos, we've got to dream it up again. All of it. The American dream, all of that stuff. America has to rebuild it. The whole world has to. Because it's inequitable, it's not sustainable, it doesn't work for human beings, for the majority, 99%, doesn't work for the animals of this planet, doesn't work for the planet.
No.
So, and I think that's what's happening there. And it was just, was it a surprise yesterday? No, it wasn't, but it was shocking. Yeah. Sorry, I've gone on.
No. I completely agree with you. But like you were saying about hope, though, the American dream, I was talking about this with my friend yesterday, how I feel like we've all collectively kind of taken, I don't know the color of the pill, but from the Matrix, you take the pill and then reality, you start to see it, even though it's always been there. I feel like for minorities, like my parents, the inequities have always been there. Yeah. So the American dream is a dream, but you have to really sacrifice a lot to get to it. So,
like what? Like time, family,
time, family. You're putting in more hours in work, and the resources aren't really there wherever you end up. But about hope, I do think that in hindsight, this pandemic, with what was his name? Well, with BLM, Black Lives Matter, I think.
Yeah.
Now that we're all online all the time, we see when a police officer exerts force, police brutality. I think it just mobilized a lot of minorities in the moment, and it's just become enough is enough in a way. And seeing that runoff in Georgia, where a black man won, I don't know. I just feel like there are more voices being heard from minorities more than ever. And so the idea of the American dream wasn't, or this idea of America being beautiful, it is, but America being a source of upward trajectory. You know, the possibilities are endless. I think that was a facade, really, because it wasn't there for us.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Like, so you're essentially saying the American dream was really a kind of, it was sort of more appropriate for what white middle class, even, even white
Exactly.
working class. It wasn't a possibility. And it's,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think it's the truth, isn't it? I mean, it's getting beyond the kind of the American dream and appealing. I tell you what's weird. I tell you what's really weird. I had a There's this kind of weird thing in America about socialism. I don't know if you've noticed,
Mm.
but there's this I like there's this kind of not understanding of socialism. Socialism is like this dirty word in America, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And the far left, and I'm telling you that Joe Biden is not far left compared to
He's no,
he
he's a
no
moderate.
yeah, and most European governments are left of that. And I had this conversation. I was staying in oh yeah, so when was it? It was 2015. Yeah, 2016. When did we do Lollapalooza? Was it 2016, 2015?
I saw you
Whenever we
guys 2016,
No,
somewhere
no,
around there.
yeah, no, when was it?
Oh,
Coachella. Did you see Coachella?
no, no, I did Berkeley.
Gypsy Soul Queen. Um, I met her at Coachella. What year was that? I know she's joined us. I know. What was it? Anyway, the year we did Coachella, I was staying in
Hmm.
Venice, and there's a guitar store in Venice, like a tiny thing. It's like, and I really needed a guitar. I just I needed to play. I didn't have a guitar on me. We had 4 days, and I didn't have a guitar. So I went in to this guitar store, and this guy ran it, and I bought this $200 guitar, acoustic, and I started talking to him, and he was a Trump supporter. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Hmm.
I was talking, and then he said, we've got to keep out the socialists. And I said to him, I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, yeah, McCabe's guitar. Is that it? We've got to keep out this. We've got to keep out the socialists. And I said, and he said, you suffer from, like those French. They're all socialists, aren't they? Because there's something going on. And I went, well, what do you understand about socialism in France? And he said, well, And I said, listen, go on holiday to France every year. Every French village. This is the train travel is cheap. Everybody has the right to good food. Every village and every little town, every village in France has incredible sports facilities, and I said, the society provides for the less well-off. There's an underpinning. I said, what's the downside to that? What's wrong with that? And he said, well, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's socialism. And I was just like, well, that's what it's this kind of it's like this form of brainwashing, isn't it? These kind of, and that's why I try not to use terms like left and right, because I'm not, left and right. It's just, again, it's pigeonholing and it's putting people's backs up. But it's just, I don't know. It's it must be. My heart goes out to you and to all our brothers and sisters in America, because it's hard. And I don't know about you, but I mean, even when people say, oh, well, it'll all be over in 2 weeks. Really, will it all be over in 2 weeks?
No.
Because the divisions will be there, and what does Trump want to do? He wants to be center of attention. So he's going to be there stirring up whatever way. He'll get his own radio station or whatever. If they
TV show.
ban him on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram and socials, he'll find his own media outlet, because he's addicted to it. And this is a guy, from what I understand, who had a brutal upbringing from his father, who hated losers, and he can't accept losing. So this is what it's about, for him. And he's playing these people. He is the snake oil salesman, right? He's playing these people. And people said, he was, like a lot of people said, he incited that mob to violence yesterday. And people say, no, he didn't. Yeah, he did. He didn't. What he doesn't think about probably is the cause and effect of what he says, but what he said was inflammatory and caused people to go to the capital. So, you know, I think the really important thing for all of us, and I think, like, how do you, you know, we've got to be, you can't stay positive all the time. And I've been struggling with this at the moment. I'm sure you are as well. You have to, I think, I was trying to think, I didn't know whether I wanted to do this tonight because I haven't been in a great place. And I thought, well, what am I going to say? I'm not, you know, but the honesty is we're allowed to be pissed off. We're allowed to be angry a moment, but we also have to look after ourselves and not get too down about it. And I think that's so important. Like, we have to, like, you know, someone once said to me, you don't help anybody by coming down yourself. And so the mental health aspect, and, you know, I'll get into that. I've been into that a bit, but do you have how do you stay, or do you
Positive.
stay, yeah, how did you?
Yeah. Well, I actually really appreciate that you have considered mental health. I think it's been a really big topic because of the pandemic. For me, it's here, let me see if I can switch it. Can I switch it?
Yeah.
I can. I have my records.
Oh,
I have
nice.
my books here. I play music.
Great.
I also
You got
got
some,
this little doohickey, right? You've already played with it.
hey,
Yeah.
isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. It's glitchy and
Yeah.
it does all sorts of things. So, I mean, and well, my family, we're going through some hard stuff because of COVID at the moment.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but it's mainly just family and finding the time to do what brings you joy, even if it feels like any other time it would be a waste of time because it's necessary.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I really recommend, like, I've been I did it before Christmas, but this Wim Hof book
Mm,
and these breathing exercises. I give my close friends this Wim Hof book, and there's these breathing exercises and these cold showers, and I do the breathing exercises before I meditate. And meditation for me anyway, as the last 18 years, I've the reason I do a lot of this stuff is because my default setting wasn't one of positivity.
mm.
I, as I, as I like to say sometimes, I've worked fucking hard to be happy. And listen,
That's
I don't
good.
have, no, but listen, the crazy thing is, everyone go, what do you mean you're in the successful band? When we were at our
Mm,
most successful, not most successful, but when we were at the pinnacle of the heights that we reached around OK Computer and Kid A, I was the
mm,
most unhappy I've ever been. And that's because I thought that being in a great band and all this stuff would make me happy. And what it does is it doesn't. It's like happiness, as anybody who's been on the journey knows, comes from within. And for me, that's why things like I've worked like the meditation, exercise, being
mm,
outside. I mean, exercise, sometimes you don't want to, you know, you don't want to go for a run or you don't want to, but, and sometimes it's right not to, but, and also having a sort of a discipline in life and reading the right things and eating the right things. And I gave up booze. Um, they're all really important. And I really, really, to everyone out there, like, I really think it's important to have like your schedule to the day. You can flow with it, but have some, don't like, we're trying to do this with the kids because they're online schooling and their online schooling starts at 9:10 and they could be getting up at 9:05, not getting into their clothes, you know, staying in their dressing gowns or whatever.
right.
And we're like, Susan and I are like, okay, wake you up at 7:30. You've got to get dressed, have a shower, get dressed, have a cup of tea, get ready for, you know, you have to, at this time, you have to have a structure. And it can be a loose structure, but it's a structure. You need to, it's so important, this whole, listen, I've been feeling, I've really been, I was really down over Christmas, and which is really unusual for me. There's other
Mm,
shit, you know, there's stuff that surfaces.
right.
But yeah, someone just asked me, do I have the cold showers? Yes. I'm on 3 minutes on the cold shower, and I was the biggest worst. But I think that the breathing is as important as the cold shower. The breathing is like, I really think it's like it clears you out. It clears you out. And then the cold shower just wakes you up physically and also stimulates you in a way. But I really think and it's interesting how I'm having these conversations now with friends, and they're going, "Oh, we've got a load of friends who are into wild swimming. Wild swimming is obviously the ideal, being out in nature.
Mm.
But I think these things are really, 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 they're really important now, and because it's so easy to go under. So music like you're doing, meditation is massive. For me, having a spiritual practice is important, but sometimes that I forget that. It's not like I go to church or anything, but but yeah, someone said Vegas nerve care. So because we're in lockdown. Are you guys in lockdown, or are you California's pretty?
It's, yeah, we're in lockdown. I know LA, that's been in lockdown since the beginning. For us, it comes and goes. Things open up, and then inevitably people aren't wearing their masks, and it just gets worse, and then we
Yeah.
go back into lockdown. Right now, I'm in school, so
Great.
I'm training to be a teacher. So thank you,
Bravo, Andres.
thank you.
How near are you from graduating? And
I just need 4 more months.
come on.
Yeah.
So
I'm almost done. I'm almost
what
done.
your what age, is there an age group you'd like to teach particularly?
Middle school, high
Which is
school. So
age
it's,
11 to 15, 16?
yeah, around there. So 13 to 17, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got the teenage years.
Yeah, it's history.
Oh, you're going to teach history?
Yeah, so I'm teaching history. I start in February. It's a little nerve-wracking because I'm gonna have the whole class to myself.
Wow.
So it's
History was my favorite. History and English were my favorite subjects at school.
mm,
I like history. What period of what history are you teaching?
US history, world history. It's a little of everything, really, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think, are they gonna? It's interesting. Do you think that? I mean, is there a curriculum, or can you teach what you want to teach? Do you think?
No, no. So they in California they have these things called the standards.
Yeah.
So it's like these it's a numbering system where each student has to master a certain standard. So it's, oh, talking about Reconstruction era, talking about the Civil War, students
Yeah.
have to know these little brackets. And
Yeah.
so you have to basically make lessons on these standards, and you can't really deviate from them.
Yeah.
You
But
can
can
a
you?
little.
Because listen, we all know how history needs to be. We're all now aware of the way that history has. History is written by the victors, right?
Right, right.
So there has to be, at some time, there has to be a readdressing of particularly American history, European history as well. I mean, massively. Like
Mm,
in Britain, when I did the Industrial Revolution, I studied the Industrial Revolution. It talked about this little thing called the slave trade. What we didn't learn was how the slave trade was. There were three pillars. Was the way that the Industrial Revolution, all these incredible buildings you've seen you see in London, all these Georgian buildings, all this amazing technology, the steam train, all this stuff. How was it paid for? The slave trade, and
right.
we never learnt that. And
Mm-mm.
that has to happen, and there has to be, like, I've been reading a lot of Native American histories and books, and I'm reading and perspectives, and that perspective is massive. The black
Mm-hmm.
perspective, the Hispanic perspective. These are to give it. And hopefully in your lifetime. So you might be starting in this place, but hopefully in the next few years it's just going to go like that. And where you start what you're teaching of history will expand, and you can place a few little nuggets in there,
Oh
can't you?
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So little do they know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be radicalizing these students
Come
and
on,
being like,
Andreas.
no, I'm gonna be including voices of, like you said, blacks, Chinese, these minorities who've
Yeah.
always been shunned from,
Yeah.
their stories, and telling it like it is, bringing in these atrocities and genocide that we just don't speak of because our country turns a blind eye and says, no, that never happened.
Yeah,
It wasn't as bad as you think it was. But it's like,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
yeah, it's why things are the way they are. It's why what happened yesterday is happening, really.
yeah. And
So,
that, yeah.
yes,
Well, bravo, bravo, my friend.
thank you.
Well, I take lovely chat. I realize it's
Yeah,
been on for about 40 minutes. I
no,
reckon
no,
we
it's
could
time.
talk for a
Yeah,
long time, but this feels like a really, really good place to end.
I agree. And I
Re- I,
appreciate this conversation
Thank you,
wholeheartedly.
and I really appreciate you being just such a great guy, eloquent, and you know, as someone just said, Andreas is king.
Thank you.
Really good luck. And you know what we need, it's so great you're going into teaching because the world needs great teachers.
Mm,
And good luck with that because it must be a very, very, you know, it's not an easy job. It's
no.
a very, very, but you've got a really important job, a really,
Mm,
really important job. We can all remember all the great teachers. In fact, one of my favorite films is Dead Poets Society. Have you
mm.
seen that?
I have, yes.
Oh, I mean, Robin Williams, but be that Robin Williams, be that inspirational character and plant those little seeds.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have an awesome rest of your Thursday.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you, my friend. You
Thank
too. Hope
you.
you have a
Hope to
good,
see you soon.
hope to see you soon.
For sure. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Wasn't Andreas great? That was really nice. I feel a lot better. Um, yeah, I love Dead Poets Society too. Um, I hope you're all, I hope, if I was going to say, I hope you're all well, I do hope you're all well. I'm sure you're not all happy and well. I'm sure most of you are like, I'm sure everybody is feeling it. Um, let's do this again. And I think as well, I'm going to get back some new guests, but maybe some of the people we've had before. And I think also what I'd like to do is check in with some of the people we've spoken to before, thinking of Leon and the guys in Kentucky. And if any of you would like to, who I've spoken to before, would like to get back on and chat in the future, I think that'd be good. I feel like it's been nice to kind of check in. Brian, be nice to see how Brian's doing. Sarah, all of you. Be nice to check in because and maybe if yeah, and new folk as well. New folk. All right. Stay strong. Stay healthy. You don't have to be happy. And hang in there. All right. Big love. Big love.